So what we have today is the Dell Inspiron 3471, and we're going to upgrade the RAM from 4 gig to 32 gig. Again, this PC was purchased with only 4 gig, but it does have the upgraded processor. So based upon what the user is looking for, they think that the RAM will be a significant improvement. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to take a Phillips head screwdriver, and we have to take these 2 screws out and then slide about an inch, slide this casing, and then it will reveal the inside. So take the small screws out. Move it, like I said, about an inch, and then the casing will come off. That reveals the internal processor, the cooling fan, we've got the hard drive, and also the DVD player. And of course, the 2 slots of RAM sit directly underneath the hard drive and the DVD player. So we have to take these cords loose, remove them, remove the hard drive and the DVD player. So this is where I like to reach and grab my mobile phone and simply snap a quick picture. If you do this at this time, you always have a picture of the way everything goes back together. Again, you may work on a lot of things, you can't remember from one thing to the next how it goes together, or maybe you don't work on very many things. So again, this is a good way to piece that together. Again, take a couple of good shots here. It's amazing how the mobile phone has become our scratch pad and our memory to keep from having to write things down and take notes. Again, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So now that the casing is open, the first thing we have to do is we have to take the hard drive out. So in order to do that, there's a couple of things. We've got 2 screws here, and then there's also tabs along this front cover of the computer. So what we have to do first is gently lift these tabs so that the cover will come off. We're going to remove the screws. And then from there, the hard drive will set to the side. Now you could certainly take this loose, pull the wires, but I think in this case we can get by with just setting it to the side. Okay? Just make sure you're not putting too much tension on anything. Alright, then that reveals that there's another plate that we have to take loose. Take this screw out. If you notice, it slides, and when we did that, the DVD player came out as well. If you notice, everything is still tethered. Okay, and what this does is it reveals the single slot of 4 gig of RAM, and the other slot is open. So what I'm going to do is I've got to remove one and then put the 2 in. So I've got 2 16 gig cards that will go back in. Again, this computer will handle a max of 32 gig, so that means 2 16 gigs. Okay, if you will notice on the new memory sticks, I wanted to show you that these sticks are not symmetrical. So the center notch has a place that it must land. And so in other words, the memory will only go in one way. So we have to get it oriented correctly so that this small slot will fit into the correct place on the motherboard. So what we'll do now is we have to actually take a screwdriver and push down on these white tabs. When we push down on them, so I always like to loosen one side, loosen the other. Now some people are a little more accustomed to pushing these down very hard. They work on these every day. I do not. And the memory pops out. So again, you'll notice this slot here is the way it came out. So what we will do is very carefully pick up the other memory stick and orient it correctly. You see there? Set this memory stick aside. And again, while you're working on electronics, please make sure that you're grounded very well, that you're not working on carpet or something that will generate a lot of static electricity. So we will put this back into the slot, and then you can see where my thumbs are positioned, and firmly push down on each side. And when you do that, those white tabs will lock into place. Again, carefully reach and grab the other memory stick. Make sure the tabs are open. Have to get it aligned very good. And firmly push down, and it will click and lock. Oh, there you go. So both sides, I'm looking at the two tabs on one side, two tabs on the other side. Everything's closed well, and so therefore the memory sticks are installed. It's just that easy. Okay, now we have to reverse the process putting the DVD player in. So as a reminder, the side of this DVD player, DVD CD player, it has two support, I'm going to call them bolts, non-removable. But anyway, they must go into these slots on the side. That's what suspends this side, and then one screw goes back in the other. So we'll place it to where it goes in the slot and then slides back. There's actually arrows, you probably can't see it, but there's arrows here and here indicating that you have to slide. Slide it into place, install the one screw. So now what we have to do is we have to put the hard drive back in, cover on, the front plate on. Make sure the front cover's snapped on nicely, and there you have it. The Dell Inspiron 3471. We took it from a 4 gig RAM to a 32 gig. That easy.